June 1970, Nancy attends the Queen's Convocation to receive her Bachelor of Arts degree.
Trees swaying in the summer breeze.
Suzanne Paquette had been Nancy's best friend at Queen's. She married Phil Vorvis, who was also at Queen's.
Soft kisses on a summer's day, laughing all our cares.
Towards the end of June 1970, we rented a houseboat for a week in Ivy Lee along the St. Lawrence River. Our plan was to sail it to Kingston on the first day and then up the Rideau Waterway. We did not know how far we would get before we had to turn around to return the boat. We reached the highest point on the system after the Newborough Lock.
They say that all good things must end someday.
This is a picture of our original map used in 1970.
Leaves must fall. But don't you know that it hurts me so to say goodbye to
Our 40-horse Johnson is a good engine, but a bit low in power for the heavy houseboat.
no, 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 no.
We have passed the Thousand Islands and are progressing slowly in calm waters in the wide expanse of the St. Lawrence, with Kingston still 10 kilometers away.
And dream of you.
Nancy has taken the role of captain at the wheel and checks for pirates. You cannot be too careful.
They say that all good things must end someday.
We spent our first night on board in Kingston, but have no recollection where we had moored the boat.
But don't you know that it hurts me so?
The next day we are entering the Rideau system via the Cataraqui River.
Wish you didn't have to go. No, 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 no. And when the rain beats against my window pane,
Our first locks will be at Kingston Mills, a series of 4 locks which will raise the boat about 45 feet, almost 14 meters, above Lake Ontario. Starting about 242 feet above sea level in Lake Ontario, the summit of the system is Upper Rideau Lake at 403 feet. The Rideau then drops to 134 feet by the time the waterway reaches Ottawa.
Spring was never waiting for us, girl. It ran one step ahead as we
The rectangular structure is the railway bridge above the locks, the main rail line between Montreal and Toronto. The Rideau Canal was built to protect Canada from American invasions, such as attempted in the War of 1812. Much of the waterway consists of flooded lands, enlarged lakes and deeper rivers created when the dams were built. The construction of the canal started in 1826 and it was completed in 1832 under the leadership of Colonel By of the Royal Engineers. The people operating the lock are opening the valves to lower the level inside the lock. There are likely a few boats waiting to get back to Lake Ontario. Then we will sail our boat inside to start the lifting process.
I recall the yellow cotton dress foaming like a wave on the ground around your knees. The birds like tender babies in your hands, and the old men playing checkers by the trees.
North of Kingston Mills, we will be cruising up the Cataraqui River, going through the Washburn Lock and the 2 locks at Brewer's Mills, before traversing Cranberry Lake and finding an overnight mooring.
I don't think that I can take it, 'cause it took so long to bathe.
We are now going upstream on the Cataraqui River. The navigable waterway is marked by a variety of light buoys and spar buoys. It can be very narrow in places. A few sections of the waterway are actually dug canals, providing a channel between some lakes. The shores of the canal and lakes are now often lined with many cottages, but when the canal was built, its 202 kilometers went through unsettled wilderness. 47 locks were built, as well as 52 dams.
There will be another dream for me. Someone will bring it. I will drink the wine while it is warm and never let you catch me looking at the sun. And after all the loves of my life, after all the loves of my life, you'll still be the one.
We started the third day with rain.
I will take my life into
The pilot station is covered, and a clear plastic curtain can be stretched over the bow. But visibility is much reduced, and the rain comes from the sides. So we decide to stay put in our well-protected spot.
I will have the things that I desire, and my passion flow like rivers through the sky. And after all the loves of my life, oh, after all the loves of my life, I'll be thinking of you and wondering why.
There are hundreds of old stumps still in the shallow lakes. They date back to the clearing of trees after the ice covered the lakes during the construction period in the early 1800s. Most are underwater and do not rot away. We welcome the sunshine as we resume our journey. We will be going through the 4 locks at Jones's Falls. The Davis Lock, Chaffee's Lock, and finally Newborough Lock, getting us to the highest lake of the system, Upper Rideau Lake.
This park is melting in the dark. All the sweet green ice ain't flowing down. Someone left the cake out in the rain. I don't think that I can take it, 'cause it took so long to bake it, and I'll never have that recipe again.
We share our lunch with the local population of fish.
I lost that love before, got mad and closed the door, but you said, child, just once more. I chose you for the one, now we're having so much fun. You treated me so kind, I'm about to lose.
The water in the lakes is very clear and totally free of water weeds in late June.
I'm so glad you came into my life. The others were untrue, but when it came to loving you, I'd spend my
The new morning, it is time to turn around and make the return trip, hoping for warm and sunny weather.
You always showed me that loving you is where it's at. You made me so very happy. I'm so glad you came into my life. Thank you, baby. I love you so much, you see. You're even in my dreams. I could hear, baby, I could hear you calling me. I'm so in love with you. All I ever want to do is thank you, baby. Thank
We
you,
think
baby.
this is the high side of Davis Lock.
You made me so.
The lock has been refilled with water and the lock crew is opening the gates to allow us to move into it. It is a slow process, still all manual in those years. Some of it has been mechanized for tourism since then.
So very happy, baby.
With the boats in the lock, the crew opens the water gates to lower the level.
Into my life. I wanna thank you, girl.
And eventually open the lower gates so that we continue our voyage.
You made me so very happy that I wanna spend my life thanking you. Thank you, baby. Thank you, baby. Thank you, baby. Thank you.
Another sunrise as we set out for Kingston.
Good morning, starshine. The earth says hello. You twinkle above us, we twinkle below. Good morning, starshine. Lead us along, my love. Good morning, starshine. There's love in your skies, reflecting the sunlight in my lover's eyes. Good morning, starshine. So happy to be my love and me as we sing our early morning singing song. Flitty gloop gloopy, nibby nabby nibby, la 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 lo lo. Saba sibby saba, nubby abba nabba, lily lo lo.
Back in Lake Ontario at Kingston, the night will be spent moored on Cedar Island, offshore from the Royal Military College and Old Fort Henry.
Can you hear me singing a song, loving a song, singing a song, loving a song, laughing a song, singing a song, sing a song, song and sing, song, 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 sing, 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 song. Song, 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 sing, 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 song. Sing a sing song, sing a song. Yeah, you can sing.
Cedar Island is one of the many Martello towers built in the early 1800s for the protection of Canada from American invasions. And so was Fort Henry, now a major tourist attraction.
Heavenly shades of night are falling. It's twilight time. Out of the mist your voice is calling. 'Tis twilight time. When purple-colored curtains mark the end of day, I'll hear you, my dear, at twilight time. Deepening shadows gather splendor as day is done. Fingers of
From Cedar Island, we have a great view of Fort Henry with the sun setting behind it. We hear the gun from evening tattoo and see the puff of gun smoke.
together at last at twilight time. Here in the afterglow of day, we keep our rendezvous beneath the blue air. In the sweet and same old way, I fall in love again as I did then. Deep in the dark, your kiss will thrill me like days of old.
The last day of the trip gets us back to the Thousand Islands, and we spend the afternoon and night on Georgina Island, a stone's throw from Ivy Lee.
Together at last at twilight time.
The Canadian span of the Thousand Island Bridge goes from the mainland to Georgina Island, and we are close to the anchoring point for the suspension cables.
Beneath the blue air, in the sweet and same old way, I fall in love again as I did then. Deep in the dark, your kiss will thrill me like days of old, lighting the spark of love that fills me with dreams untold. Each day I pray for evening just to be with you, together at last at twilight time.
We relax in the evening light. Nancy is hidden behind a tree.
Twilight time.
Now I don't hardly know her.
Pierre decides to have a quick swim in the St. Lawrence. The water is still pretty cold this time of the year and has a strong current. Next morning, we will be returning the houseboat in a light fog.